This is going to either be posted, by the time it's posted, it'll either be Black History Month or Women's History Month. And either way, I would just like to say that I appreciate the community of Black women that I am able to associate in this community. But hey, everybody, welcome back to Melanin Minds, where we are recognizing Black women and femmes in the comic book industry. I'm your host, Tashi or Natasha. Unfortunately, my beautiful co-host Ty, Black and Culture, is not with us and will probably be absent for a lot of the season. This season, she's got a lot going on, so please just keep her in your thoughts and everything. We still talk consistently, so I'm trying to make sure that I am staying up with her and making sure that she's good. Also, if you do not know, she is part of a magazine. I'll put some links in the bio about that, and make sure you guys go and support that. It is a Black-owned nerd magazine. We definitely need more of those. So that's on that. Today we have a great guest who I very much enjoy. She's awesome. Funny enough, I found out recently that before doing all of this, she was actually a poet like I was, and a dancer, technically an artisan. You know, making jewelry is part of artisan. Yeah. She is a cosplayer. She's an artist. She does amazing things for charity with comics, which is probably one of the most awesome things in the world I can think of. And has been in this game now doing art professionally for us for like 5 years. Starting as just, doing her art, putting it out there, then started selling her art to people, and then said, you know what? I want to go outside the box and put myself out there, because, as us introverts, we have a really hard time doing that. And then decided to start her own live podcast, and God, more power to you, because I cannot go live to save my life on Instagram at all. Called AnimeInArt Talks, where she highlights other creators in the community, which is awesome. And it's just so cool. It's been so cool actually watching her evolve over the last 2 years now with the live. And I remember being on like in more of the early time, and then looking and being on again actually more recently. And honestly, despite what she might think, Liz is probably one of the best interviews in the game. I'm just saying. That's my personal opinion. So if you don't know about AnimeInArt, you are going to learn something today.
Hi.
Next page.
First off, thank you so much. I was like, I'm here about to cry.
Girl, I think we messaged you actually after our last interview and was just like, girl, we're not a lot of places we go or shows where we just feel very comfortable and at home. Like Blurred's Eye View is one of those places. Getting on with Kira with Room Full of Blurreds is one of those places. I can't think of very many other shows we get on where it's just like, oh man, this is a very chill experience. I am comfortable sharing, especially me as a person who is not very open, and my husband who is a very open person. Still, there were probably points when he almost was like, I might be on the edge of oversharing, so maybe hush for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So you make people feel very comfortable and welcome when they come talk to you.
I appreciate that.
So now I'm going to make you uncomfortable just a little bit by making you be open with the audience.
No, yeah, that's fine.
But before I get into my actual more in-depth questions, for people who don't know who you are and what you do, and a little bit of your origin of how we got here, you let them know.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Lucy. I'm usually the one doing the interviews recently, but we're here now. But I started AnimeInArt in 2021. So before that, I've been drawing since for me, it was more so of a hobby because I didn't go to school for it. I just one day when I was 8 years old just said, "Hey, I just want to draw. I like anime. I like these things." And I saw like I forget if it was Bratz or whatever on my pajama pants. I just started drawing from there and drawing from references and then drawing from different animes that I like, doing Inktober in like 2018 and everything like that. So fast forward to around 2020, because in high school and everything like that, people would see me like draw the characters, or like in art class when I would do certain things. So they would say, maybe you should sell it. But at the time, it was like that wasn't a thing that I thought of doing. Just like right now with AnimeInArt, where I kind of do multiple things and I just try things out. That was kind of how I was in high school. So I was doing other things. Like you said, I was doing spoken poetry for a little bit because it was a way. Well, I got dragged into it, but I'll share that. I'll share that later. Because it was a way to express myself when I didn't know how to express it verbally. So it was free form. I was also dancing. I did like ballet, tap, jazz, and point from 5 until high school. And I was doing like, I was in like the Spanish club and stuff like that. And so I was doing those things. So there were so many things I was doing. Drawing was just on the side. I didn't think to make it a business. And the pandemic hit. And that's when I decided I had a to-do list of things: learning Japanese, this, that, and the third, writing a poetry book. For some reason, just the drawing came back around the time after I got married. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I just had a picture of All Might I drew, did like a background, because I'm mostly known prior to AnimeInArt to do black and white drawings only. And I said, let me just sell it. But it didn't seem feasible. So Redbubble was where I started. And then it just went from there. So that's how I started AnimeInArt, and over time it has turned into me cosplaying for not only the stuff that I do, but just in general. I've been able to collab with other people. I also host my own podcast show now called AnimeInArt Live Talks, where I talk with different Blur creators in the community about their journey in content creation, how we can support each other better in the community. We've been doing that since September of 2023. And yeah, so it's cosplay, art, and just podcasting. That's what we've been doing so far.
And our commissions are open, by the way. They are.
Yes.
Okay. I just need to throw that out there. The commissions, you get some art done.
Yes.
I actually didn't think about it recently, but I'll talk to you about that another time.
Yeah, no problem.
But so I know you started off when it came to when you started putting your art out there. You know, doing like a lot of people do. You drew your favorite characters, other people's favorite characters, and you know, occasionally you might draw them looking like us, like a lot of people do. And there's been a lot of discourse about that kind of thing lately. And I know you've talked about it very briefly from what I've seen before, about people saying something to you about it. So what do you think causes these issues when it comes to drawing race swapped characters?
I think where the issue comes in is because for a lot of us that are Black artists, there's this pressure, the pressure to, especially when you're vending, to have things that people like. And unfortunately, people like a lot of the characters they already know. So sometimes for a lot of us, we fall into that. We have to draw like the next anime character, this, that, and the third. But then when it comes, but we still have that feeling in our hearts, like we want to draw something for our community, but we also want to draw what we want. But we get two sides to the coin. It's either you draw your original art at that moment. You have like, for me, I have both because I'm trying to improve on the original characters. But sometimes when I go to conventions, they just ignore it if they're not of the, you know, of the particular skin color, and they're like, oh, that's cute, but like, do you have like Dragon Ball Z or like, you know, MHA or like want somebody from One Piece? Whereas like I'll go to a different event and I have a few of the characters and maybe some of the anime characters that they know, but then from our community they're like, you should draw more Black characters. But then it's a mix. Either if it's like, you know, me and you and people that are really into those original characters, they're all for it, or they just skip past you. So sometimes it's like a complex of like, I'm not sure what's the ratio to fit. And for some people, they get to the conclusion of like, it doesn't matter. If I want to draw characters for representation, I'll find my audience. And that's kind of where, in the perfect world, we want to be at. But a lot of people, due to pressures of they need to sell and they need to do this, and they know that people in our community, like, you know, a lot of the gateway anime, you know, like Dragon Ball Z and like Sailor Moon or like Naruto, JJK and everything like that. For some reason, when you turn them black, people are all for it. They're like, oh my God, there's somebody that they already know is now black. So then they decide to buy. And for some people, they're like, well, this is what I have to do to get seen. And I think that's where the issue is coming.
Right. A healthy balance would be good. And if people could just accept that healthy balance. I'm living proof right here on video. Hello.
Yes.
But hello.
Exactly.
I got two characters on the wall behind me. One has always been a black character and one has not, but is currently black. And you can see the rest of my wall. I have 3 pictures of Sailor Moon, black, right over here. But I also have several original art pieces that are black. Balance. We need to have balance.
Yeah.
I think I truly believe most artists have balance.
Yeah.
I think we as the consumer need to learn the balance and to stop trying to not allow artists to be able to express themselves in the way that they do.
Yeah.
So, but I like that answer. I really do.
Thank you.
So leading into that, because, you know, you're trying to find your balance. So what are your feelings towards not only the lack of representation that you are definitely trying to bridge a gap of, especially for Black people, especially for Black women. What are your feelings to change the way that people react to representation? Like I know you've said before, it's like people say they want that representation, and then you give it to them with your original characters, and then they're just like, that's cool, good job. But then they go and they instead go over there and buy a picture of Goku, whether Black Goku or not Black Goku. Like, what are your feelings? How do you think we change that mindset?
That's a really hard one because where I live, and because that's what I've just realized firsthand, sometimes it's hard to break that mindset. I think if we don't get out of competition mode and survival mode. That's what I've noticed. When we do, for people that don't know, I live in Irvington, New Jersey, and like just New Jersey in general. It's an area where people are still feeling comfortable to like, you know, being Black and saying that they like anime. And I don't know if it's because they feel as if we can't have these things because they don't see people pushing to bring it to them. Then they feel like, oh, this is going to fail. So let me just go out somewhere else or to a different area where they've seen it succeed, not knowing that that place that they want to go to, they had to start somewhere. I think it's mostly like reshifting that mindset of like, just because something is new or like doesn't mean that it won't succeed or that people wouldn't like it. I think if eventually we learn to do that, or we keep somebody on my show said recently that, and I posted it the other day, I guess lead by example, because they said, and I quote, that like a baby doesn't walk on its own from the womb, so they can't expect people to do it. But if they see somebody actively trying to push for the representation or like showing the representation and being okay about it, no matter what's being said, maybe it will cause those people that are like kind of weary being like, oh, well, if they really stand true in it, you know, and they keep fighting for it, and they're seeing, I guess, like, just like, you know, you guys at Midnight Comics, you know what I mean? Like, no matter who cares, like, whatever the opinion is, you still push out the stories, and now you're seeing the fruits of your labor for it, you know? So people that may have not known that this is possible, they see that it's possible because they're seeing you guys do it, you know what I mean? So I feel like more of us have to do that. in wherever our communities is for people to see that it's possible. I think that's the only way, because I'm not sure how else for now. I think they just have to lead by example. That's the best thing I could think of.
Yeah, I like that. And honestly, it does go right in line with being an indie comic company and telling people to buy indie comics. You can never call us a liar, because if you walk in my house and look in my comic boxes, we have 3.5, almost 4 huge comic boxes full of just indie comics. So you never call us a liar on that. Like, so I think that lends to what you're saying about leading by example. If I think people should be buying indie comics or black art, then I also, when I have the money, because should be buying and supporting those things. As long as they're good, I'm not, you don't have to say, hey, if it's not good,
but
you don't have critical thinking skills. I believe that in my heart.
Hearts of hearts.
My heart of hearts. So when talking about your art and how it's evolved over time, I know you took a lot of inspiration from like Tokyo Mew Mew, what were the other two? Mob Psycho and Gurren Lagann. Tokyo Mew Mew was like your first manga, and that's what really inspired you. But then, like, the way it sounds, Mob Psycho was really that for you. Like, do you have an anime you like more than Mob Psycho?
That's funny that you say that, because like I've been watching anime since I didn't know it was anime at first. Pokemon was the thing that really like I was so obsessed with. It's crazy that like fast forward to now, like I still love Pokemon. I'm just not as caught up, but maybe because I got older. But back in that day when I started watching it, just obsessed. Like Pokemon the story, want all the cards, want to know all the Pokemon. So that's how it like grew into what it is now. Gurren Lagann I bring up as like to people when they ask me, because it's just, whereas Pokemon was like I guess the gateway for me, and I always have a place in my heart. I think Gurren Lagann just made me realize how over the top anime can be, how creative it can be. Because for anybody that hasn't watched it, just the basic premise of the anime, to know where it leads to, especially near the end, I'm like, how did you get that from like digging hole? Like, how do we define physics? So it's just a fun watch,
So out of those three though, which one inspires your art the most?
I would say I guess Mob Psycho, because like that design people really do like, but Mob Psycho is just relatable in terms of like, for me as a person, when I do a lot of like the yin yang, because like I feel like after I did that drawing, I did a lot of like yin yang with like Assassination Classroom, like the good and the bad and everything like that. Because I guess for me growing up, it's like for the shows, I'm able to talk and with people that I like care about and everything like that. But it's just, I used to have a hard time expressing feelings and everything like that. And just learning to express myself and being open to share things with people is something that I'm constantly learning to do over time, and like relying on others and getting help from others and everything like that. So it's just, I felt like Mob also went through that as well. For those that watched the show, he had a really hard time expressing his feelings sometimes. I never had it to that extreme, but you can relate, where you're just like, you want to trust people, but you probably have like experiences to where you're not sure if you can trust people, but then you find the few sets of people that makes you think differently. And I feel like that's what AnimeInArt has given me, is just knowing that there's people out there that accept me for me. I don't have to like question it. I don't have to question if they're taking advantage of me and stuff like that. I have a good select few people that really believe in me and want to care for me and want to support me as much as I want to support them. So that's why I like the anime relates, because he found those people that were willing to risk their lives at the end, of the show to keep him safe. So yeah.
Yeah, Mob speaks to the former anger issues in me. The mild mannered and then the blow up. That's it definitely speaks to the stuff you said about learning to trust people as well. But the blow up is to that sentence counting up until you explode. Oh man, that's relatable.
Yes.
So you said Mob probably inspires your art style the most. So
Mhm.
if you had to pick a favorite piece you've done,
Mhm. Mhm.
what would it be?
Honestly, the Gear 5 that I did.
That was a good one. That is a good one.
You know why is because this is something I'm still working on because I still choose to do traditional art
Mhm.
and then digitally edit it. But
Uh-huh.
that comes with its own learning how to get the quality to match. Because like when I'm drawing and I
Mhm.
see the drawing and all the details and the coloring, and then you go to find out how to make it. You always deal with like quality issues. So that's the one thing that I've been trying to improve over time. And with
Mhm.
the Gear 5, it was just because, like I said, if I had my way and I didn't push my comfort zone, I probably would be in the Magna artist route because I really love line art. I love shading. Like that's my thing. Like I can do that all the time. It'll be fine. But it's the coloring I was improving on. So with the Gear 5, it was just like I tried to utilize tips that I got like the coloring wise. And I had more time to do like the detailed drawings that I used to do back in the day for Inktober. That some of those are in my portfolio. So it kind of combined the two, like me improving the coloring and me improving the like just the artwork in general. And then when I finally like put it digitally, it just came together and I was like, okay, thank God. I feel like we're progressing. That's why it's my favorite one.
No, no, I can see that. That was a really good one. You may change my mind about what I want you to when it commissions you. That you wanted the manga so bad. I had one idea, but now you said that, I was like, well, maybe you have a different idea. You know. So, speaking of manga and liking manga and want to do manga and anime, I
Mhm.
know that you said your dream job would be to work with Science Saru, the anime studio that did Don Don. Let's say they show up and knock on your door right now and offer you a job.
Mhm.
What position would you love for them to offer you?
Mm. I feel like I know which interview you watched. You did. Did
Now, to be fair, I when I do my research, I watch a lot of stuff. Yes, you definitely know which one this was. 'Cause
yeah.
I don't think I remember you saying that on any other interview I've seen, or there's not a lot, so I've seen
Yeah,
it.
I think I know which one that is. I believe that was the one with JG Collects, I think. Because I think he
Yes,
brought
that was
he brought us in. Yeah, I love that you
brought you.
I love that you did your research. Like, as much as you praise me, I love that you did
I told you, I don't think I know anyone who does more research on their guests than I do, except you. The way you had me like, dang, I need to step up my game. I was like,
but
I do a decent job, but let me step it up because Liz is on a whole nother level.
but wait, can you just repeat the question again so I answer? Okay.
So the Science Saru offers you a job. What's your dream position?
Oh man. I would love to do like the inking for them, if anything, because it like how fluid everything is,
Mhm.
and how I said like that's like my comfort zone. Just imagine just drawing all the detailed, like just inking all the detailed things before they do the animation. That would just be cool to see their process because that base level for any animation has to be clean for it to come out the way it is and the way that I've seen that they do in Dana. Then I'm like, I just want to pick their brain. I just want to see how I improve. So that would be like that would be like the best part of the job.
I can imagine you doing the inking. I can't imagine doing it. See, that's the thing between me and you, awesome artists, is I can draw. When I give like a concept sketch to an artist, which is very rare, because again, it's like, hey, this is like the bare minimum, because they're not getting any details out of me.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a circle with some dots, Maybe if I'm really feeling up to it, those, like in middle school when we first learned how to do the anime style of drawing, maybe you might get some of that with a little bit more detail and very stiff, but that's you gotta draw architecture, you're gonna get a line with, lines and more lines.
Yeah.
And just let me know what you figure out from that, because
I get it. I know for artists, line art is daunting because, especially traditionally, because once that ink hits the pen and you start, you can't go back, you can't erase, you can't do anything. So it's really daunting. I think for me, because I like it because you get to make sure all the detail that you drew from the pencil is there. So for those that may like line art, they may get a little bit uncomfortable with coloring because you're like, I don't want to lose the details at all. And that's me.
I've seen that happen with some stuff where it's like, oh man, this is so detailed, and I see the colors, and it's like, I mean, it still looks good, but I kind of wish the details were still there because that's what made that for me. But I also know I'm not doing either of those things. I'll send you to my daughter.
Yes.
She'll do it. She's really good, actually. But all right, so I'm gonna switch the gears just a little bit and talk about something that's really awesome in my personal opinion. For those who don't know, Liz works with a company called Critical Care Comics. And what Critical Care Comics does, if you don't know, is essentially they deliver comics to children that are in hospitals. They visit hospitals, they raise money for families, they donate comics and toys, they dress up as superheroes, and they go visit these kids in the hospital, and it's like matters. It's an amazing organization that does amazing things for kids who are in hospitals going through cancer treatments or anything else. And as someone who's had children in hospitals before, and in areas where these kinds of things don't exist, it's just always really awesome. So how did you get involved? Because I know that they have a location kind of in your area in New York, I think. How did you get involved with Critical Care Comics, and what inspired you to start doing that?
Oh, so I knew about Critical Care Comics because I've had quite a few people on the show, and it's funny how life works. The creator, the cosplayer, Luxury Leah, she was actually in the group since it started in the New York chapter. The New York chapter's been around for about 2 years. Las Vegas a little bit longer because they've been there longer. So during that interview, she mentioned it like she always does in her posts. So when I was doing the research, I saw it and I really liked it. For me, the reason why I joined was because it's not the first time. Like, this is not the first time that I volunteered. It's something that I used to do over the years, since maybe about freshman year of college or before. Like, I used to help out at the food bank, like nearby our house. We've done like cancer walks and stuff like that. Like, I've always done something volunteer wise up until I started AnimeInArt, like up until 2020, because I also was in a nonprofit organization. So I was doing the community stuff because I was in the National Honor Society. That's how it started. And then, but I wanted to keep doing it. So then I did food banks and different things. 2016, my best friend, her mom tried to create an organization called We Are a Sister's Keeper. So basically, we were trying to give back to women and families and children in the Essex County. We did like one or two like little book scholarships that we could with the funds that we had, like giving them like at least $250 to $500 for books for them to go to college. But when they moved in 2019, COVID hit, and then I did AnimeInArt. I didn't really have a place or the time to do what I wanted. So when we did that interview and I saw that they could do volunteer, I said, I know I'm doing a lot, but I kind of want to volunteer. And after I dealt with all of the things that were going on the year prior, I said, okay, I feel healthy enough, I feel good enough. Let's just see what happens. It seems like a good cause. So I just applied on the website. I got interviewed by shout out to Michael from the founder of it, and then we had a background check, and then that's when I started. And there's a few people in the community that we know that's part of it, like Sir Julius Cosplay, Luxury Leah, and there's a few other people in the community that, like in the Blurred community, and then, you know, other members that are heroes, and heroes, which means that they dress up in cosplay and go to the different parts of the unit. And so far, my job has been, since it started, was because I took on the task of the toys. So we have a cart that they use for the toys, but we have to get inventory. So I've been doing that, helping out with getting new hires. Some of the people in the videos we did recently, I helped like do the interviews for them and stuff. So we're still growing, and you know, anybody that wants to be a part, just sign up. You know, we're still growing because it's like the smaller part of the chapter, and due to the resources that we have, so it will be really great. I'm the agent. Long story short, so that just means I don't cosplay, and I'm okay with that due to my current schedule, and I don't have Marvel and DC characters. That's the only thing. So I just go as a regular agent, and I just help out with the toys and everything. So
we need an Atlanta chapter.
yeah.
Seeing it and being like, that's so cool. And then I saw it was in New York, and I was like,
Yeah, they have one in so it's Vegas, New York, and so far South Carolina.
I didn't see the South Carolina one. Okay. I didn't see that when I looked it up initially. Yeah. I'm from New York. I have family in New York.
Yeah.
I'm on the opposite side.
I know.
So if they ever get an Atlanta chapter, please let me know.
No, yeah, of course. I can give that information to Michael, and he'll try to see, because he's always willing with with the limited time that he has to try to expand. So I can give the word on that.
I think children's down here, which I am a frequent visitor of children's healthcare of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would definitely not only benefit but love it.
Yeah,
children's is great. I may be biased because I have to use them, but children's is great. Also, there's not really many other children's hospitals in Atlanta. There's also that. But what is your favorite part of working with Critical Care Comics? And I know we're probably gonna let this be, you know, the second to last question, and we'll, you know, close it out in a little bit.
No problem. I think the favorite part is like once we get to the visits and we actually get to see the kids and, you know, see their reactions, because, you know, like doing any nonprofit stuff, sometimes getting there in the commute and the travel it can be a lot. Especially because I come from New Jersey, so I have to drive like an hour. But no, it's nice to see like just the smile on their faces sometimes, like when they see the cosplayers, you know, and then they get the toys, and like the parents, you know, they most of the time they're really appreciative. So that makes it worth all of the stuff before the visit.
Gosh, that's so sweet. Okay. I'm sorry. I love stuff like that, especially stuff with that's helping children, and that's been the case since probably I was in high school myself. So it's something that when I learned about that initially, I was like, that is an amazing organization, and I'm glad that you're working with them and everything. And get the Atlanta chapter, please, in the near future. I would love to help. But going out, I'm going to ask you if you have any advice that you would like to give anyone who would like to do what you do, like whether that be AnimeInArt, whether that be Critical Care Comics-esque stuff, whether that be the live talks, like just any advice for up and coming Black women specifically trying to do these things.
Just keep going when it's hard. I think that's like the best advice, and that you'll find your tribe, because those are some of the things that cause people to stop when they see that the process that it takes to get yourself out there and or the support, they might get discouraged, you know. And I've had those moments. It's just when you go into it, make sure it's something that you're passionate about, so that whenever those setbacks come, you realize that doesn't define the future. That's the best thing I could say.
No, that was great. because it is hard. Even when you do have people, the people when you find those people, man, are they lifesavers?
Mhm.
Because if you don't, when you're ready to give up, there's no one to tell you not to do that.
Mhm.
And so then most times you will. And so if you have somebody that has your back to tell you, hey, don't do that, it makes it so much easier. Because also, if you're a former or recovering people pleaser like me, you're like, well, I don't want to disappoint you.
Yeah. Mhm.
So definitely helps. All right. Before we split out of here, remember, commissions are open.
Yes.
Anime Inc. Art Live Talks is not currently accepting applications, but I'm sure she will be
Oh,
soon.
oh, by the way, it's all year round, honestly. Whenever you apply is when I do a show.
They don't.
So feel free to reach out.
So, reach out to her about that. Get a commission, like and share all of her things, and she's going to let us know where to find all those things at.
Yeah. So definitely main platforms is Instagram. So follow Anime Ink Art 1 and Anime Ink Art Live 1 on the Anime Ink Art Live Anime Ink Art 1 Instagram page. Just click the link in the bio. It will have the link tree. Everything is there. Whether you want to get a commission, whether you want to go to Shopify or Redbubble store, whether you want to know what's happening next, or any of the other socials that I try to post when I get the time. I have a love hate with some of them, so yeah, but it's there. And the broadcast channel link should be there as well. And yeah, that's where you're gonna find everything. So yeah, just I appreciate you guys.
And of course, everyone, this has been Melanin Minds. I'm going to have to get used to saying this now that there's an actual social media for Melanin Minds. If you're right here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel to get more talks like this, where we get into Black women who are in the comic industry, that is writers, artists, and adjacent things. There's so much that goes into comics that people don't realize. I actually saw a Threads post the other day that says comic books, or the comic industry, I don't know which one it was, is more than writers and artists. And that is so true on such a deep level. I've had people in here who don't do either of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Comics, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So comic adjacent things are part of the comic industry, because without all of those other things, we can't thrive. So subscribe right here on YouTube. Leave a comment if you learned something. Go over and you can subscribe. You can follow at Melanin Minds 24 on Instagram. Or if you're looking for some awesome comics, you can follow Midnight X Comics everywhere except for Facebook and YouTube, where it's just Midnight Comics. And remember, as I always say, a small spark can become a huge flame. And screw cancer.
Yes.
See y'all next time.